This was barely on my radar, and I'm already kind of hoping for an expansion. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is my review of Great Plains from Lookout Games, a two-player game of area control. And that's what it is, although while it is technically area control, it feels more like an abstract game in the puzzle it's providing. Great Plains is basically, like I said already, two-player area control. All you're going to do is you're going through two phases of the game. You're going to start by setting up your camps on the board to basically figure out how you enter the board from various locations. If you look around over here, you'll see these various locations. Each tile has one, and yes, the tiles are double-sided and configure any number of different arrangements so you can pair up whatever map situation that you want to go for. From there, you start off, players are going to take spots, placing their little tiles down. Let's alternate back and forth. Let's just try to do this. I'm not putting any real thought into this because that would actually take time, and time is something that oh, they're all on the edge. Wow. These four over here are all on the edge. It does not make for a good setup. So let's just go for this one over here. That seems like a slightly better one. And then we'll go over here. This is a good entry point to that region, and they'll go here because it's a good entry point to that region. Okay, good. We're all set up. Now we're going to start taking our turns. You see, once your camps are set up, that's the first phase of the game, you're going to start taking your turns, placing your people onto the board, and just slowly spreading into all the various spots. Let's go ahead. Orange will go first, and we'll take a tile, and you have to put it next to one of your camps. So in other words, I can place it here, 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 or here, or here. That's your first spot you can go. Not a lot of options. Let's go for the one we think is the best, which is here. And because we put on that eagle, we're going to take an eagle. Now it's Blue's turn. Blue's also going to go. Blue's trying to be mindful of the various zones here, because what you want to know before Blue goes is at the end of the game, you're going to score points for whoever controls these yellow spots on the board. And then additionally, each spring is worth a point. So for example, this is a 2-point region. Whoever has the most characters in this region scores those 2 points. If there's a tie, no one gets them, or both get them, or whoever. Over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 2 springs. That's a 7-point spot. Blue's mindful of that, so they're going to start getting a little in someone's face. They're going to grab a bear token, trying to grab the bear token, which is how you knock other players. Eagle lets you cross mountains, and the horses let you go 2 spaces. This guy's also, seeing that exact same pattern develop, wants to grab a bear token before they run out. And now Blue is kind of just going to start heading their way. They're going for an aggressive early start into a big section of points. And now, right about now, Orange has to decide whether to fight for that section of points or whether to say screw up, and let's just go for this giant section of points because Blue doesn't have the fastest way there. Blue's like, huh, you don't think I have the fastest way there? They'll grab that little horse token. They'll now be able to give that up to move 2. Orange is like, you know what? We hear you. We hear you. Let's, pivot a bit and start going down here, which is going to be a little less threatening. Blue steps back a bit. Blue's like, you know what? Not going to be less threatening. We're going to go ahead and lock this in. We want to get that taken care of. And right now, Orange has a decision to make. And let me play out that decision for you. You see, Orange wants to aggressively move forward, but they are also mindful of the fact that Blue has a bear token. So I'm going to take an inefficient move for the sake of teaching you how to play. They're going to discard their horse in order to move their next person 2. So now they're able to move 2 forward, they're able to skip a spot, which is great because in theory, if Blue didn't have that bear token, Blue's next move is going here, Orange's next move is going here, and let's play that out, and then boom, Orange currently has it. It doesn't score till the end of the game, but right now Orange would have a dominant position by using their horse. But, on the other hand, Blue does have a bear token, so Blue is going to use that bear token, returning it to supply, to smash Orange into a mountain and remove that token from the game. That was fairly aggressive, it was fairly brutal. The good news is Orange is prepared for that, and Orange locks a spot in over there. Blue locks in their control over here. Everyone's feeling very good, but they forgot that Orange also has a bear token. Orange is going to smash Blue this way, knocking that out. So, they still have the position. They didn't knock it off the board, not as good, but they did knock it out. They currently have a dominant control. And so right about now, Blue's like, you think that's how we play this game? Not a problem. Let's go ahead and get another bear token so we can repeat our mantra from earlier. This game is not over yet. Orange is a little bit nervous, and the problem is, let's say even Orange could get a bear token, because they could. Let's lock that bear token in. Blue spends the bear token to smash Orange into the wall again. The problem now is you cannot use a bear token to smash someone into somebody else. Other players prevent the bear from being used. You can smash them into an empty space or into a wall or off the board. You cannot smash them into another player, so this token is currently protected. Orange, for all its best attempts, has effectively, almost certainly, lost control of that region, which is sad, because I don't know why I'm playing both sides here. Mentally in my head, I'm the Orange player. I don't know why. But anyways, Orange, like we lost that, we'll go ahead and get that. Blue knocks us over here. They're just trying to slowly collect each region. And then Blue knocks over here, and Blue's winning. It's great. Except Orange currently has the bear token. This is right about now where Orange takes a look around the board and says, well, all the current bear tokens, there's 1, 2, 3 bear tokens left. Blue's currently potentially close to that one. So what do we do now? We're going to use our eagle to cross the mountain range, which is what you do there. So we cross the mountain range using our eagle, and now we're over there in that region. Blue's like, oh, no, you didn't. And they jump out over here to grab one of those eagles. The problem is orange is prepped for that, and orange goes ahead and grabs the bear before blue can. Orange is now locked in another bear token, ensuring that whatever they do now over here, blue's going to have a harder time reacting. Blue understands that. They figure that out, so they go ahead and jump out over here to grab a horse token so that they can next turn grab that bear token. Orange is like, it is what it is. There's only so much we can do. Let's go ahead and take a bit of a pivot. We'll grab this eagle token over here. By the way, I had no intention of playing out this full game, but I'm enjoying myself too much, so you're going to have to sit around for the ride. It's now orange went ahead and grabbed that eagle. Blue moves their horse to quickly lock in that last bear. So they have the last bear. I mean, there's one more bear over here, but no one's really close to that. And they're like sitting there trying to figure out what to do. Orange, fortunately, is actually currently well positioned. This piece can't be pushed backwards. This piece could be pushed backwards. So orange is immediately going to lock in that bear token to knock this piece backwards over here, understanding full well that blue kind of wants to push them, and I didn't even realize this, but orange is actually defended on both sides. Blue's going to have a hard time there, which is unfortunate. That time blue spent grabbing that token, well, he shouldn't have done that. Again, it was me, but I'm playing both sides, and in my head, I'm playing orange. It's now blue's turn. Blue decides to start locking in some pieces over here. They forgot right off the bat that orange has that token. Orange is going to knock them back a spot. The good news is blue doesn't really care. Blue's going to lock in that spring, and now it's currently tied, and no one's getting that spot. Okay, that's what you did over there. So that's fine. Orange is going to spend this to cross into this region, understanding full well that at least they have a 3-point region there. Blue decides to start crossing off a few extra points as well. They're going to jump, spending that token over here to jump across over there. Orange grabs this horse token over here, which is all great. They have that. Blue decides to lock in this region over here. That's 2 points. Don't want to give that up. Orange decides to go ahead and grab the bear token. Last bear token on the board. Blue decides to go ahead and spend their, that doesn't seem like it'll work. Let's go ahead and spend our horse token to jump across over here, grabbing that. Then orange decides to spend their bear to knock blue off the map over here, locking in those 5 points. That's excellent. Good choice on their part. Blue now has to figure out how they're going to go. They'll grab this spot with a token there. And now orange has to figure out how they're going to go. And I don't see any obvious good moves. Let's deny blue some points over there. Honestly, blue should have taken that a second ago. And then lastly, blue spends their token to, along with their horse, to lock in the points there. I had no intention of playing a full game, for the record. It just kind of happened. So that's basically how you play Great Plains. I was able to play a full, granted, game with myself in about 5-6 minutes, which is not bad. Real games take a bit longer and a little bit more thought put into the strategy, but that's what's going on. From there, you're going to score all the regions. So blue's going to score 3 points for this region because there's no contesting over there. They're going to score 2 points for this region, 2 points for this region. Meanwhile, orange is scoring 7 points for this region. Blue's scoring the 5 for this. Orange is scoring 3 for that. Orange is scoring 5 for that. You can go back and forth gathering all those up. Any region in which they're tied, such as here, no one scores for, so no one's going to get any points for that. You're going to rinse and repeat, counting up the points, and that is how you play Great Plains in 6 minutes, which again was not my intent. So, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the review of the game. How do I feel about this? All those things. I mean, honestly, I literally couldn't stop playing over here, so it is what it is. This is a really fun, easy, and accessible game. I mean, that's supposed to be the ease of play section of my review, but I'm heading straight into it. The ease of play is really easy. I taught this game in a minute and a half, as you saw. You can hopefully get a good idea for that. I do find that you kind of want to teach the game, play a few rounds, and then reset. I do find that regularly happens. Teaching people how to play versus understanding some of the nuances of when a bear token can help you, where and how you can defend against them, things like that. Granted, the game's short to begin with, but I find spending 4 minutes playing, 6 or 7 placements back and forth gives the other player a good idea of how the sequence plays out. But again, the rules themselves, very easy to teach, just takes an additional few rounds to grok, to understand what's happening. Player count is 2. I've played this at 2 players, and only 2 players. As far as what I like, it's a mean game. It's a mean game, it's a strategic game, there's a lot going on, the playtime is absolutely amazing. Really, that's the biggest thing. This is probably going to be a short review, because there's not a lot to say about the game. What there is to say about the game is that it packs an incredible strategic punch into an incredibly short time frame. The combination of area control and abstract play, the combination of the way you can adjust the map so it's always slightly different. The same puzzle, to be fair, so it's not a high variability in that sense, but it does give you a different board. You're never really set up in like, okay, well, here's the configuration I go for. The way you can have those, 7 tiles, I played the first time. 7 tiles, 2 sides, that's 14 possible map combinations, the way and the orientation and all those things, a ton of different ways you can have the map theoretically set up, as you try to figure out how to take advantage of each map. Do I go for the big spots knowing I'll have to fight over them? But if I don't fight over them, then the other player will get big spots without having to fight for them, which feels like not really fair. So maybe I go for a bunch of small spots and then just start reacting to their play. The way you can do all these things and then combine that with the abilities. The abilities, which are never on the scoring spots, which gives you a bit of a challenge. Do I go more for the scoring spots, or do I go for the abilities because that will help me lock in the scoring spots? All of that adds to the fun puzzle that Great Plains is presenting. All of that adds to the challenge of how do I tackle the current situation? How do I respond to their move? Do I grab the bear tokens because that's what I'll need to preemptively respond to what I think they're going to do? Or do I say screw it and start going for these other side regions? There's a lot of decision points and strategy all combined into a very small package, a very small physical package, a very easy to teach and play package, a very short playtime and table space. All the things are small except for the amount of strategy and game you have packed in here. And like I started off with, it's mean. I like that in a game like this. I like the fact that there's a degree of getting in each other's faces, and I don't just mean spending a bear token, that's mean too, but just outmaneuvering your opponent, figuring out a way to get to the spot they wanted to before they did, figuring out how to sidetrack them as you go on a completely different spot on the board, but you're only going there to gather a horse, to gather an eagle, and then to fly over and get in their face. Crossing the mountain ranges at the right time with an eagle is amazingly fun. You see the spot over here? Spending an eagle to cross over onto the other side and suddenly being where the other player didn't think you were a potential challenge, and now in their next turn they spend a bear token to shove you into a wall where you thought you were protected. Moments like that happen so frequently in Great Plains. There's a lot of strategy packed into a very small package. As far as what I don't like, low variability. Not the map setup, that there's plenty of, but the actual game experience, the puzzle you're engaging with every single time, it is on the low variability side of things, meaning the main reason to continue diving into this every single time is the escalation and anticipation of how the players interact with each other, which is definitely there. It has that abstract feel. Many abstracts have low variability, and Great Plains is no exception to that. So the puzzle is the same, but the anticipation of how the other player is going to react, especially if you find yourself playing with the same players, as you both learn to outpace, outmaneuver, to preemptively decide how to react to your opponent's move. There's a lot of things still going on there, but yes, it is a low variability experience. Like I started off with at the very beginning, I kind of want an expansion. Maybe map tiles that give you some, like, each map tile has a different aspect they add to the game that could be interesting, or could make it into a cluttered mess. I don't know, and I love the game as is, so I'm certainly not complaining, but that's the one real thing I find myself wanting more from out of Great Plains. As far as I can see others not liking, hoarding tiles can be frustrating. Now, it's part of the strategy, but hoarding tiles can be frustrating. What do I mean by that? I don't mean hoarding these. I mean, I want these, but I'll keep it on the board. I mean gathering the ability tiles and saving them. Because if you go on a spot that has a bear, but there are no bears in the supply, you don't get a bear. You don't take it from your opponent. You don't get any, like, I owe you later note. You don't get the bear. So if I wanted to deprive you of attacking me with bears, I could simply hoard the bears. I can get all of them, never use them, and stop you from ever using them against me, which is a very valid tactical aspect of how to approach the game, but it can remove some of the fun from the other player. You're like, I mean, listen, I want to use abilities. What am I supposed to do here? And you're not letting me use abilities. So while a valid tactical approach, other players may find it frustrating when that happens. And then secondly, like I said earlier, it's mean. I like that in a game. I like that aspect of shoving you into a wall, knocking you out of a spot, and having a 7-point swing, which in a 2-player game effectively nets to a 14-point difference in our scores. But you might not appreciate that. You might find that to be frustrating. You might find a game that was otherwise about to be close, about to be neck to neck. You may have won the game 21 points to my 20, but by me knocking you out of that 7-point region, suddenly I went from 20 to 27, and you went from 21 down to 14. 27 to 14 feels like you doubled my score for a game that was really about a single move difference or swing. So the game is mean, it has that aspect, and you have to be comfortable with that because this is part of the abstract area control game that Great Plains provides. As far as final thoughts, I mean, there's not a lot to say that I haven't said already. My biggest thing is I kind of want more content for the game. I don't know how that looks, and it might make the game messy at the same time. I just find myself liking this so much, and yet not diving into it that much, because most abstracts I find go through a cycle with me. Because of that low variability, games like Santorini actually has higher variability, games like Tak, games like Yinch, games like Zerts, or any of the GIF series, and games like Great Plains have moved into this category of gaming I have, where I love the game, and I love pulling it out, but I pull it out infrequently. I don't table it 7 times in a weekend. I table it once, twice, and maybe get 3 games in a row, and then I wait another 2 or 3 months and maybe pull it out again. I like that process of diving into it again, but I don't continuously dive into it because it is the same experience every single time. And so I really enjoy what Great Plains is providing. I really enjoy the sheer amount of stuff they managed to pack into a small package, and the elegant, mean, brutal, just delightful gameplay that is packaged into a very short 20-minute game, or if you're playing with yourself on camera, 6 minutes or so. That can be a thing too. Rating-wise, this for me is a 4 out of 5. I really like it. I really enjoy the game. It's a 4 out of 5, a good experience that I am continuously find myself diving into. Granted, with little spacers in between and how often. As far as other game recommendations, I'm actually going to give 3 this time. Usually I give 2, but I just found myself kind of drawn to 3. None of them feel exactly the same as Great Plains, but they all gave me the same puzzle, that 2-player, head-to-head, trying to outmaneuver your opponent in a very cutthroat, yet seemingly polite, but realistically mean game. There's Tarji, a 2-player game of trying to place your workers to get the cards you need while blocking your opponent at the same time. Delightfully mean, delightfully brutal, easy recommendation. There's Paris, the City of Lights. I really enjoy that one. I've been really liking Paris a lot. It's one of my favorite 2-player games these days, but it's one of those, it's a polyomino game which you're trying to outmaneuver and outplace your opponent. Again, it's nice, but in reality, it's brutal, it's mean, it's cutthroat, and it's all about outmaneuvering and outwitting your opponent. And then finally, Land vs. Sea from Good Games Publishing. Land vs. Sea does have a 2, 3, and 4-player mode. The 2-player mode is where I find myself most often playing it, although I think I prefer the 3-player mode the most. But when you're playing that 2 players, again, it has that polite little tile-laying concept, but in reality, it's brutal, it's mean, it's abstract, and it's in your face. And that's basically Great Plains. I really enjoyed this one, an easy recommendation. I hope you found this helpful. As always, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I hope you have a good one.